Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of What Are You? I'm just feeling cheerful today. I'm sorry. But let's do some check-ins. Aja, how are you doing?
I am tired. I think we should have a yawn counter for me going, honestly, because I yawn so much because I'm always tired. So I apologize to our viewers if you have to see my distorted face while I'm yawning. I just yawn a lot because I'm always tired. Um, that's how I'm doing. Lots of work to do. Megan Thee Stallion's birthday was yesterday, so happy belated birthday, Megan Thee Stallion. Aquarius season. Like, I'm just saying. Yes, Ray, I said it. Okay, I'm an Aquarius and I'm proud of it. You can do it for your season, all right? But right now, it's Aquarius season. Period. Jay, how are you?
Also, thank you for joining us yet again, Jay. As those who don't know, Jay was in our episode last time. So if you want to check out that episode on hair, just check it out on the link over there. But Jay, how are you doing?
Doing well. You know, feeling good. Feeling grateful. That's what I'm feeling. I'm grateful to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Of course. The sun is out, the snow is melting, the frost is getting warmer. But today is our episode to talk about the day of love. That's right, talking about Valentine's Day. This is probably one of my second most favorite episodes to talk about, just because, there's so much to talk about it. Also, it's Mardi Gras, so we can put that on the side for later because we're talking about Valentine's Day. So I guess I kind of want to ask you all about what you love and what you hate about this particular holiday, whether it be like a bad experience, whether you didn't get your Valentine's Day card from that boy that you didn't like, whether you try to get your crush to get that Valentine's Day thing and it didn't work out. So I want to hear all the stories, all the things.
Welcome back. How you doing? I can't see you. Okay.
So as you were saying.
Okay. As I was saying, I've never been the type to hold the Valentine's holiday above all other days as an expression of love. Um, I've been in a few relationships, and Valentine's Day has always been something that's been pretty low key. I've never gone like all out with someone. Like, I see people on Twitter and stuff posting like, oh, he bought me a Tesla for Valentine's Day. Like, he it took me to a Michelin star restaurant for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, y'all got that money to spend, because a bitch is broke. A bitch is poor. Okay. But I guess the good thing about this is that it's just a kind of an excuse to be able to have that really close time with whoever your partner is. So I've always found that aspect of Valentine's Day to be nice. But yeah, I mean, it's never been a super huge thing for me. I mean, it's nice to recognize it and be like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, like we should do a little something special, but never been like, you need to take me out and then you need to spend a bag on me, and then like that's never been who I am. I'm not on my city girl stuff. Not yet, at least. Anywho.
Not yet.
Jay, what about you?
You're so funny. Yeah. Totally agree with the materialistic aspect of Valentine's Day. Like, I don't necessarily think that's always necessary. I think, to your point, the commercialization of this holiday is kind of takes it to a next level. So if there's someone out here who's, coming to my life who wants to throw gifts like that. I'm not going to deny them on Valentine's Day, you know? So it's not like I want to limit gifts. I like gifts. They're nice, you know, but at the same time, I think my favorite aspect is just how it's a day to celebrate love and just really be so grateful for love and just the kindness people have. Like I took a walk on Valentine's Day and a stranger who was walking their dog said, "Happy Valentine's Day." And I was like, "Happy Valentine's Day." You know, it's like, especially now more than ever, it's just the little things that are acts of kindness, acts of love, really just kind of are multiplied for me right now. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite time of the holiday, whether I'm single or with a partner. Like, I just want to honor love. And, you know, this year is self-love. So I got some cupcakes and some pizza, and I ate and I enjoyed my night and just relaxed. So that was my Valentine's Day.
There you go.
All this positivity.
I think that's what it is. I think like for me, I think that's the one thing I love about it, that like everyone's really positive, like, and like I'm not a person for social media sometimes, but I love to see like my friends like show off like, oh, this is my first time with my husband, or like this is my first time with like my child. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna stop. Like it's just so good. Also, I just love people doing things like that, Jay. Just like being like, hey, happy Valentine's Day. Like I hope you're doing all right. You know, like just that subtle, like you didn't need to say it to me, but you did. And it's so good. I will say the one thing that I do hate, which they're changing up on this, are those stupid heart candies. Like those stupid like chocolate candies. Like it's like a heart in a box, right? And there's these random assortments of chocolates.
Really bad chocolates too.
Yeah.
You'll take a bite and you'll be like, bleh, and you'll just like, I don't like this. Like, what is this, apricot? Ugh, like. But they're changing the game up. I don't know why they didn't do this in the first time. They have underneath what the chocolate is, like what it's filled, like a description of it. Y'all, we're living in 3021. Okay, we're living in the future.
I've
what a
never
time
gotten
to be
a
alive.
box of chocolates that didn't have the description on it.
I always did, and so I'd always be like, I'm just rolling the dice, like
Right.
okay, and just.
Because my mom was what mad. Are you talking about?
She'd be like, you have to eat it. Like that's the rule. You take a bite of it, you have to eat it, and you're like, well, I'm allergic to nougat. It's like you gotta eat it. Like sorry. But yeah, no, we're living in a times that are changing. Super excited. And then I guess like for me, like, you know, obviously the media that I learned from Valentine's Day, like it's always good. Like there's always like these Valentine's Day episodes, you know, that I've watched, and I'm like, that's what I want. Also, I'm sorry to disappoint either one of you or Terry, but I saw what Michael B. Jordan did for his Valentine's Day, and man, I cannot.
What did he do? What did he do? I didn't see that.
Right, I'm like, I need to
be. So he, you know, is currently with someone right now, which honestly is like teetering on like the existence of the universe, because if that falls apart, I don't know what love is. I don't know. And so what he did for his Valentine's Day is that he rented out an entire aquarium, and he had a rose petal led dinner in the aquarium while they ate, and had like a whole bouquet of flowers and this and that. And I was like, okay, Michael B. Jordan, I want nothing but the happiness for you. You know, like, and you're just happy for him. You're like, he is just loving to love. And at 34, man, you couldn't ask for anything better. Yeah, 34. Mm-hmm. Wild. So
34, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Ain't that something? That's
if
unexpected.
anything, if anything,
You look 27.
That's what everyone said. But if Michael B. Jordan shows you anything, is that you can wait for love.
Okay, that part, that matters.
That matters.
That
You don't have to,
matters.
you don't have to rush into things. Take it slow. Take your
it slow.
time. Am I playing Tevin Campbell in the background? Probably. Like,
Can we talk for a minute?
see, well, that's what I mean. Like, I think like this whole
Yeah.
day, it just brings up like good R&B music. Whether it's like I love this person or I hate this and I'm heartbroken and I need to scream. Like,
Right.
I think it's just like a really good holiday to kind of express, just those emotions and stuff like that.
Right.
And so a recent topic that I started to talk about with colleagues that I kind of want to ask y'all is about radical love. Think about that word, kind of like marinate it in your mind a little bit. And I want to see what you think it means to you and how your ethnic culture showed you how to love. Audra, we're going to start with you.
Okay, I guess I'm not gonna be able to marinate or anything. Let's see. How my culture taught me to love. Protect your husband, serve your husband, praise your husband, worship your husband. That's how those dynamics worked within both sides of my family. So, my definition of love is very different than what my cultures have taught me because it's always been like protect your husband, like protect our men, but it's more the focus is on the men versus the women in the relationships. If it's a heterosexual relationship, obviously not heterosexual, but of course, like within that identity, there's these dynamics that come into play that are just so normalized when it's incredibly toxic. Um, I think I've told a few stories about my relationships with my parents on here, but my father and I don't have a good relationship at all. We're relatively estranged. But my mother and I have a close relationship. So I was kind of witness to her rediscovering what love is and what a true like caring partner is and someone who's going to support you. So versus cheese on the entire marriage. Yeah, gotta love that. But I saw a lot of different definitions of love, but I'm still trying to figure out what my own definition is because these outside influences have some have been positive and some have been incredibly toxic and manipulative. And trying to unlearn those things is definitely hard. And there are times when I get insecure and I absolutely overthink things. I absolutely overthink things because I was always suspicious of what was going on. Um, so that kind of trauma sticks with you and plays out in other relationships. If you witnessed it here and you were manipulated to normalize that behavior, it's going to start playing out in other relationships that you have. So right now, I'm in the process of trying to unlearn some of these toxic behaviors that I had normalized and that I was just used to being on the receiving end of. So, in terms of radical love, I'm figuring it out. But I know that if I eventually settle down, not having gremlins, however, yes, I said gremlins. I don't want kids. No. Put me on record now. Never. No, thank you. I will have dogs all my life. Anywho. If I settle down with someone, I want that person to be honest and understand what I've been through and be able to help me heal, but not be my therapist, like be there as a supportive source for me, but I don't need to come to you about every single little thing and place all of my burdens on you, because even if you tell me that it's fine to tell you about this stuff, I'm still going to feel like I'm placing a burden on you because this is something that you didn't have to go through, and I don't want anyone else to have the same experiences that I've had, if that makes sense. So I want someone who's truthful, someone who's deeply caring and affectionate. I feel like those are all the bars. But I really imagine myself being with someone who likes to try new things and explore and delve into my interests: cars, anime, K-dramas, sewing, gaming. I feel like those are some pretty standard interests. But yeah, I just hope that I find that someday. I feel like everyone does, but I'm not looking to find that anytime soon. I want to focus on what I need to do first, and then I'll go there. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Ray? You gave us this giant question. I gave you a long-winded answer, so I apologize.
No, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say. I was like, well, like, wrap this episode up.
Right. I was like, I don't even remember the question.
No.
I just was enthralled. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
No. Yeah. That's why I love this question. So good. I guess for me, for my, from my mom's side, she was always like a caring person. She was a single mother. My dad was still in the picture, but like, he showed love his way, and then my mom showed love the complete opposite way. And it'd always be like moments with my dad that I'd always appreciate when he's like, "Oh, here, I got you this thing." I'm like, I mentioned it like once in a conversation. He's like, "Yeah, but you wanted it." I'm like, "Okay." And it's just like those like little dad moments that like I would always have with him. But my mom would go like out of her way for everyone, and I kid you not, it would be for everyone. So if like, and she'd be doing wild stuff for people. Like she would change tires, not knowing how to change a tire, but like figuring it out halfway through. She'd be like helping people jump their cars and like picking people up if they needed it. And when I grew up to learn how to drive, she'd be waking me up at 4 a.m. and sending me on my way to do things, And so I think like when it comes to love, I think of my mom more, just because she's done so many things without literally anything in return. She's that kind of person. And she's just like, "Oh yeah, I just want to make sure like they were okay, they were good, this and that." And she does that too with like her cooking as well. Like she'll cook for me and like 12 other people. And I'm like, "Mom, it's just me tonight. Like I'm just here at the house." And she's like, "Oh yeah, but I want you to bring this to this person and this person." I'm like, "I'm sorry, am I Uber Eats?" Like what is going on? And she wouldn't even think about it. She would just do it and then just be like, "All right, be on your way," and then come back when you're all done. And so I think, when it comes to like just love in general, that's what I usually get. Also, being a kid from the 90s, I watched many of shows that like had true love and like, I think like I think the one like show, and like I always like reference this, but like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air really did show like a love that was different, because during that time I was like, oh, there's not really a show that I can like watch that like I can relate to as much, because he went from like high school and college, and I was like, all right, cool. If this is a kid from like high school, whatever, I can like, deal with that. And just seeing the progression of like his dating and his like falling into like, love and being committed and stuff like that. I was like, that was really good. Living Single did have like moments of like, ooh, this is really good love. Like this is like really passionate, but like flirtatious love that I really liked. Martin had like really good, like with Tisha Campbell. Ooh, man, I'm just going off. But like, I think like just shows like that, like it really did show me just like a positive vibe when it came to like love and stuff like that. And just like cartoons as well. Duh. Like, with SpongeBob just loving on everything. And like, I think, what was it? There was like a Hey Arnold episode that like he ended up trying to like flirt with some girl, but he didn't work out. And then he was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I can just flirt with her the next day. And I'm like, damn, he really has this set up. Like, so I think definitely like, for me, like my mom and like cartoons and watching that, like all those things like kind of come together into like what I think of radical love is, which is just being loving towards the humans and entities around you, and not caring about like the stipulation behind it. I think like in past relationships, I've been kind of cornered into the standard like norms in society where it's like you can't say I love you until you're like dating 4 years in, or it has to be a certain point, or like whatever. But like if someone does something nice to me, I'll just say it. Or if like, if someone like makes me food or brings me like candy or like takes me out to the movies, like just to be like, oh, let's go to the movies or something like that. I'll just be like, oh, I love you. Thank you so much. And they'll be like, what did you say? And I'm like, I love you. And then they'll just, open that can of worms and stuff like that. And they'll be like, no, it's too early. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like, if I feel it, you're not going to tell me how I feel. Like, I'm going to feel how I feel. Which has gotten me in some trouble at times. But at the same time, it's like, I'll do it to everyone. Like, I'll do it to my boys. I'll do it to my friends. I'll do it to like significant others. And it'll just be because like, that's how I feel at that moment. I don't want to let that go, because there's a reason why I like having my circle of people and keeping them close and like loving them and supporting them, because, I don't know how the universe is. The universe is throwing us in a panorama. So like, it's these kind of times that like, and this is a cliche, but, talk to the people who are close to you now, because they might not be here tomorrow or the next week or the next month. And so that's why I do it, And so I think like radical love is just not giving a care about the norms of like saying I love you, and just loving in the way that you love, whether it's saying it, whether it's doing something, and just like, not caring anything about how other people think about how you love, but you just loving. Bam. Pisces. What about you, Jay?
Love it. Love it. That was also very beautiful. And just, I really resonate with just loving, because YOLO, okay? Like, that's really my perspective. It's just, life is short, time is short, we are only with people for a certain amount of time in this realm. So it's just like, why not just be loving? It's like, what's the alternative? And it's really, the alternative is something that's based in fear. So it's like, okay, well, how can I love myself? Like, how can I really love myself? And then I'll have like a fountain to really love people from like a healthy, safe place within myself. Because, to Aja's point, like there are times where I've been, things aren't truthful, people aren't communicating, like feelings are hurt when really vulnerable conversations could have been had. And it just doesn't need to be like that. So when I think of radical love, I really think of radical transparency, like, because I think that's really the only way we can really love people, is if we know who they are. And that takes a lot of vulnerability, and it takes a lot of courage for people to show their true selves to us. So, and for us to show our true selves to people. So I think, I really resonate with what both of you said. And when it comes to my examples, both of my parents are Black, And I'm grateful to know that they've been together for over 30 years, married over 30 years. And that is a rare outcome, not just in my family, but in, you know, the Black community. Like, there's a lot of just history behind that, and a lot of separation that has happened intentionally to keep that from happening. So I'm grateful to have that perspective of long-term love and really that long-term commitment. And that's what I'm like, whew, like that takes some energy beyond any other, because that is, you know, it's really deep work that I feel happens in partnership and in relationship. Like, that's why I feel we have people in our lives, is to teach us more about ourselves. So whenever that time comes going forward for me, like, I just want to be, you know, to Aja's point, good with myself. And that's really what this year has been doing for me. A lot of time to really grow and just fill things that I wanted to fill with whatever I wanted to fill them with. So, like, cooking more and, you know, literally making my bed every day, something that I cherish now, you know, like, I love having a nice tidy house. I like when, like, I just know what I like. And so when it comes to me in a new partnership or going forward in a partnership, I want to maintain those aspects of myself, because what normally happens in my, you know, patterns, I just have to be real, is that it just kind of blends into this partner. So it's like, oh, we're just like meshing into like this one energy. And it's like, going forward, like, I don't want that. It really, you know, feels a lot rooted in like codependency. So I just want to be totally dependent on myself and grateful for things I've gone through, to be able to show up as my whole self when I am with that person, and can just be me and just say, okay, if this isn't it for you, then that's fine, because there really are billions of people out here. Like, I cannot sit and forget that there are literally billions of people in the world. So it's like, okay, I'm going to just, you know, cross the street, run into somebody who can change my life. I never know, you know, like, we never really know. So just having that optimism and love is really important to me, because I think it just allows me the freedom to be loving and to just be myself in all spaces. So, yeah.
I love
Period.
that. Look at us. Look at us,
Period.
y'all. Look at us.
Oh my god. This Panacea episode is giving you all the serotonin.
Oh my gosh. That was a great segue. Yeah, because I was going to talk about why love matters. Honestly, it's like,
Right.
now, like, look, you can say, oh, I don't need a partner for the rest of my life. That's fine. You can love your supportive system. You can love your like family. Like, as long as you love someone, because according to this Healthline article that I'm reading, some of the like benefits that happen with love is a decreased risk of heart disease, lower blood pressure, immune health improved, and then a faster recovery from illness. I kid you not, this past winter, like, I'm not gonna reveal names, but I was, you know, dating someone at the time, and I had tonsillitis. And I don't know, like, if you guys know about tonsillitis. It's gross. It's weird. It's like this whole flu.
Talked about it
Yeah.
in your podcast before.
Yeah. And I like recovered within like a week before New Year's, and I was like, bet, easy. And I honestly
Gotta
do
get
think
those
it's,
grapes.
yeah. But I honestly do think like a factor in that was because I was dating someone at the time, and it was just like, I gotta feel better, and I did, and like it just like boosted up my immune system. So yeah, everyone who's like listening to this and who's like heartbroken and who's like, oh, I hate love right now, like, you know, process those feelings, let it flow, but just know, like, you know, later down the line, you're gonna find someone across the street, or at Trader Joe's, or at Whole Foods. Who knows?
You never know.
You know, you never know. And so, yeah, to Jay's point, like, keep that positivity and that optimism about love, keep those who love you around you. Period. Period with a T.
That part.
There you go.
Part. And I need to, can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
I think this extends to every single person in your life. Like, just make sure you're surrounded by loving people, because, you know, I shout out to my friend Maya, who really reminded me that I was in a moment of, you know, really feeling a lot of feelings about love. And I was like, I'm not doing this ever again, Maya. I'm not doing this. Like, I refuse. And she was like, you know, I think you just need to process. I think you just need some time, you know, like, just give it time. So just having those people in your support system who encourage that, versus people who are like, yeah, you know, same here. Just all these negative spirals that can come from that. So just shout out to support systems who keep us aligned with love, because it's
There you
super
go.
important.
Give it time.
Exactly.
It's a journey. Look at Michael B. Jordan. He's 34 and he's doing it. He's doing great. But yes, we just want to let everyone know, all the listeners, all the people who follow us, who've been following us since day one, we love y'all. So we appreciate you, and you know, we just hope that you have a loving day. You know, enjoy Mardi Gras, y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And so for our next episode, we're gonna be talking about true crimes. Wildness. This is Audrey's episode, so she's gonna head it off. But I'm very excited to see all the craziness that true crimes has. But we hope you're staying safe, being warm, wear that mask, and we'll see you on another episode of
What are you?